So now I'd like to introduce the chairs of Vision Quest in Calgary, Dr. Jeff Williams and Dr. Amin Kherani. Dr. Jeff Williams is a retinal surgeon, ophthalmologist, and co-founder of the Calgary Retina Consultants, a leading retinal center here in Western Canada. He is a clinical associate professor at the University of Calgary, and he conducts clinical trials in AMD and diabetes. His clinical practice focuses on the optimal care of people living with retinal disease such as age-related macular degeneration and diabetic retinopathy. Dr. Amin Kherani is a retinal surgeon as well, ophthalmologist and co-founder of the Calgary Retina Consultants. He is a clinical associate professor at the University of Calgary, where he co-directs a retinal fellowship program for training retinal specialists. Dr. Kherani also conducts clinical trials in AMD and diabetes. Here to provide you with an overview of vision research today, please welcome both Dr. Jeff Williams and Dr. Amin Kherani.
Thank you very much, Anne, for that nice introduction. We're very, very pleased to see how many of you are here today. The room is full, and I just want to let you know that my own mom couldn't get a ticket. There's so many people that signed up, so I really appreciate that the turnout is so great. Dr. Kherani and I have been working on this project for a little while, and as typical, we work as a team. So I didn't prepare any notes for this, and he did, which is perfect. We just figured that out this morning. So I'm going to let Dr. Kherani take over from this point and talk a little bit more, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Jeff. Welcome, everybody. And welcome to the Foundation Fighting Blindness Vision Quest Conference. We are proud, very proud, to be associated with the Foundation in chairing this conference, because we know their leadership in funding vision research is making a difference for people living with vision loss. Vision research is changing how we practice ophthalmology. This is most evident in treating wet macular degeneration. Just over 20 years ago, researchers discovered a way to block abnormal blood vessels in people with wet macular degeneration. And the drugs developed from that research are now common and powerful therapies for wet AMD that have saved the visions of hundreds of patients, many of whom are here today. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is working to make those kinds of groundbreaking advances happen for other conditions, funding research to understand vision loss, to preserve vision, and for those of you with advanced vision loss, restore vision. This is also an international effort for the Research Foundation with many international colleagues. For people with inherited forms of vision loss, the first step is to discover the genes that cause their disease and to understand how these genes cause their damaging effects. Over 200 genes have now been identified that cause vision loss, nearly 50 in the past 5 years. Canadian scientists founded by the Foundation Fighting Blindness have been very important part of this. And here today in Calgary, we have my mentor, Dr. Ian MacDonald. Ian, welcome. Identifying these genes creates new opportunities to develop treatments. For example, Dr. Ian MacDonald is leading Canada's first gene therapy trial for an ocular disease at the University of Alberta to treat an inherited retinal condition called choroideremia. Today, 16 trials around the world are studying gene therapies for inherited retinal diseases. Many therapies can make permanent changes to the cells of the retina and may eventually be used to prevent further vision loss in many specific types of retinal diseases. Other scientists are using their understanding of the underlying causes of vision loss to develop drug treatments for specific kinds of vision loss. For example, a Canadian company, QLT, and Dr. Robert Kuhnekoop recently announced positive results from their clinical trial on an oral drug which can help prevent vision loss and restore some sight to people with certain kinds of Leber's congenital amaurosis and retinitis pigmentosa. Similarly, several companies are working to develop drugs that will help slow down dry age-related macular degeneration. Another broader type of treating vision loss is called neuroprotection. These therapies aim to protect the light-sensing photoreceptors, the rods and the cones of the retina. These treatments may be used to slow the development of many forms of retinal disease, regardless of their underlying cause. Some of the therapies being tested may also treat other nerve-damaging conditions like Parkinson's and glaucoma. At least one early neuroprotective therapy has now reached clinical trials, and more are expected in the next few years. Lastly, some of you in this room have more advanced vision loss, past the point where slowing the disease or making modest improvements will help. Advances are also being made on therapies to restore sight. One example is the electronic implant like the Argus II, which is now being studied with the foundation support in Toronto. Current implants like the Argus II offer only rudimentary vision, but many researchers are working to improve this technology. Another new and hot technology is stem cell therapies. A very few early trials have begun testing transplants of cells created from stem cells. Again, it is early days for these sorts of therapies, but many scientists, including our Canadian scientists, funded by the Foundation Fighting Blindness, are working to make sight-restoring transplants a reality. Other scientists are looking for ways to turn on the eye's own repair mechanism, restoring vision to damaged structures. There is a tremendous momentum happening today in vision research. With your kind support, organizations like the Foundation for Fighting Blindness can help produce new therapies. In today's session, you can learn more about many of them. We encourage you to ask many questions. And on behalf of the Foundation for Fighting Blindness and the Calgary Ophthalmology Program, Dr. Williams and I welcome you all today to enjoy today's session, meet each other, learn, and ask many questions. Welcome.